to the crooks, not as easy as it look. Man, but this life is like a chess game. And I never been a rook, from a pawn to a king. Take a fall and respond with a ring. We ain't really good with the replies. We was getting by, now we get it and we buy. T.O.P. the feeling till we sitting in the sky, man. Y'all too basic, I had to get the LASIK. Life ain't shit if you ain't got the vision. Me, I'm just focused on the mission. Bringing back the elephant and split it with my niggas in division. Hey, private parties where they let us in the bag. Couple friends and they faded off a yak. Haters on my nuts, I just roll another sack. Every night's a movie, we don't know how.
Welcome to Blackbird. Cool. Sorry, I just realized I could see everybody. So today we're going to be talking about good hair, some housekeeping notes. If you want to comment, you have to. Oh, sorry, there was a giant bug. Sorry. I think Micah should do this. She's so much better at it than I am.
I don't have giant bugs flying around my house. That helps.
Yeah, so I'll let Micah finish the housekeeping stuff.
Do you want to do introductions and then I'll do housekeeping?
Sure. So today we have Micah joining us again. Me, Megan, as per usual. Ashley is here again with us. Elizabeth is here again with us. Our newcomers today are going to be my friend Joe and our good buddy Dom, who is a hairstylist.
So our housekeeping stuff, if you would like to comment and interact with us, you do need an account. So for Twitch, that's in the upper right-hand corner. It's free. It's easy. We're now on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. That is also, you have to sign up for. I think it's more complicated. But if you have a Gmail account, then you have a YouTube account. So that's how, if you want to interact with us, you do need an account to comment. We also have the Facebook page that is linked in the Twitch out and is also below the YouTube in the description. So if you want to comment or you have a question or you want to bother Megan like after the stream, the Facebook page is the thing to do. We're also, if there's a topic you want to know more about, that would be the place to be like, I would like to know more about Black Panthers, which is totally something that we're going to do in a couple of weeks. But if there's something like that, let us know. I also want to point out that there's a lag in the comments. So we're about 15 seconds in the future than the rest of you guys. So it takes a moment for the comments for us to see them. But I am watching. I've got my iPad so I can see all of the comments. And then our last thing is that we've got some articles. In Twitch, it's under About. In the YouTube, it is in the description. So there's a YouTube video about relaxer and what it does to your hair. And then there's 3 articles. 2 of them sort of like personal, how people feel about their hair, and then the third one is more of a lesson. And that's the housekeeping. Like, I think that's good. I got it.
Awesome. So yes, today we're going to be talking about Chris Rock's documentary Good Hair and what he sort of explores in that movie, and then what good hair means to each of us, and sort of the things that go into maintaining hair that is sort of not the standard as far as the beauty world is concerned, which would be, the ideal in America is long, straight hair. So we'll be talking about everybody else's hair. I think, Micah, I'm so sorry. I don't have my agenda up.
It's cool. I got it. So we want to just jump into our first question?
Yeah.
So our first topic / question is for the group. And it's sort of a general, what does good hair mean to you? And I sort of love this subject because hair is very personal and means something to different people. So that's the general, what is good hair? and what does that mean to you? And I thought we could start with Ashley.
Absolutely. So good hair to me, I feel like has changed a little bit over the years. When I was younger, I had cornrows and I hated them, and I wanted hair like my really good friend Crystal, who had more of Megan's texture hair, and it was just easy and just awesome. And she'd wear it in a braid. I just wanted one braid, and my hair just would not cooperate with the one braid momentum that I was putting into the universe. But then as I got older, my grandmother, my aunt actually kind of did a sneaky and relaxed my hair. And that was a really interesting experience because it didn't quite get straight. It was still a little kinky because I do have very, very coarse hair. Not only very thick, but also very coarse. So I have a lot of hair and it's very, very, very thick. So very hard to straighten chemically even. Kind of what I saw then as good hair, even into my, I'd say, teenage and kind of young adult years. I mean, I experimented a little bit with going natural. I shaved my head a couple times. I've been blonde, and kind of what I've learned through all that is, for me personally, good hair is hair that's healthy, hair that's not falling out of my head, hair that I basically have learned to tame, because I mean, hair is a wild thing. It just kind of grows out however it's going to grow out, and you have to figure out what works to make it work for you. And for some people that's chemicals, and that's their idea. And for me, I decided a year and some change, almost 2 years ago maybe, to jump back on the natural, no chemical train and go with locks. So I've been locked for almost 2 years. Yeah, almost 2 years. So it's been a journey with its own set of challenges, just as relaxing your hair comes with its own set of challenges. This is truly no different at all. Truly. So yeah, I guess, like I said, my idea of good hair is just healthy hair that you yourself are happy with, whatever that might mean to you.
Did you say that your mom like sneaky gave you a relaxer?
No, my aunt and my grandmother.
Oh, okay.
Like, I was at my grandmother's house and they ended up giving me a relaxer behind my mom's back.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that was the first relaxer that I ever had. And even then, like, again, my hair was virgin. So it was super coarse, super thick. It didn't even like fully straighten in all the areas. So I had like a section in the back that like needed extra time, but it didn't get it because my hair was virgin and they didn't really want to leave it on, and they were doing it at home. It wasn't like a professional type straightening situation. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't the perfect relaxer, but it definitely was the start to, oh wow, this makes my hair a little bit more manageable and I don't have to wear it in cornrows, which are tight and hurt and aren't as cute as, you know, aren't as flexible, I should say, because they were cute, but they weren't as flexible as some other styles of hair.
Gotcha.
So I think when we were sort of hashing out what we were going to talk about today, I think Joe had a lot of interesting views on his hair personally and what he thought good hair was. So I would love to hear from Joe.
All right, I can do that. Yeah, so anybody, well, first of all, hello people. Black and white, mom's black, dad's white. So yeah, I don't have a general texture. My hair is a patchwork of fine, coarse, and curly and straight. So I got a little bit of everything. And personally, for me, I never thought I had good hair because it just grows wherever, and you know, you keep it low or what have you, it's manageable. But I like to rock the afro. Again, that's one of my perceptions of how to show that I am, you know, more of a black man or what have you. So when I grow my hair out, it only grows to a certain aspect. Like, as I told y'all before, the most coarse area is right there where most men have their male pattern baldness. That's where the blackest of my hair is, right there. And so when I grow it out, it only gets to be about 3.5 inches maybe, and then it's just like I'm good right here. And so I never could grow the afro that I wanted to grow. It's also when you're combing it, it's like all this is nice and fine, even when it's wet. I can comb it out. Then you get back over here, and y'all know if you try to run a pick through your hair before, it. Yeah, it gets caught. It snags a little bit. You know what I'm saying? A little bit tougher to get through, and everybody else on the outside, obviously I've taken a shower and got my hair all right the way I think it looks good. They're like, oh, you have that good hair. It's all nice and spiral curly and so soft. And, and this is after they touch my hair before they even ask for permission. They're just like, oh, your hair is like, ask first, please. Ask first. But yeah, people always want to do that. And I personally don't think I have good hair. Other people, and even black, white community, most of it's, oh, you got good hair. I wish I had your hair. And I'm like, I bet you if you really had it, you'd wish you didn't. But outside of that, growing up, I think as Ashley said, just a general perspective of what I thought good hair was like my sister's. My sister's hair was slightly coarse, but it was like Megan's, you know what I'm saying? Very smooth, you know what I'm saying? Not coarse kinky, but more coarse straight. And so she didn't have to work hard to manage her hair, if you will, you know what I'm saying? And so I always thought my sister had good hair. Black women who do the perms or hot combs or relaxers or whatever with the straightening it out or whatever. I was told that for black people to try to, I don't want to say fit in or assimilate, but to try to not have the kink coarse hair or what have you was better. It would make you more acceptable. You know what I'm saying? And we all know that in the past it's held people from jobs or, just if you wore your hair naturally in that aspect, there's an automatic pre-notion of, what or who you are or whatever by the way you wore your hair. And so I always thought that good hair was just like Megan, good hair, like just from the way I grew up. You know what I'm saying? And I tend to agree with Ashley. If your hair is healthy, you like how you rock it or whatever, that should be your definition of good hair is how healthy your hair is to you. But going back to my thing, my hair is healthy as it can be, but I've never been a fan of it. I accept that it is what God gave me. I'm going to use it to the best of my ability, but I will pass the mic. Thank you, Megan, for asking for my opinion.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. And I think you brought up some really good points. So while we were watching the movie, I think a couple of us caught on to this quote that was in the movie, and it was, if your hair is relaxed, white people are relaxed. If your hair is nappy, they're not happy. And that was one of the quotes I think that stuck with me. Like I remembered it, days later when thinking about the movie. And I think that is not necessarily true for all white people, of course. I'm not going to make generalizations. But I do think that there is a truth into it. I know Joe said he didn't want to say assimilate, but I think that's exactly what Black culture is trying to do when they straighten their hair. It's like so that I look like everybody else, so that I am perceived as a responsible, educated person, rather than if I wear my hair natural, the perception is going to be different. Dom, what do you think?
First of all, how everybody doing? For me, good hair is not a word. It means nothing. I stick by that because growing up, I was the girl with the fro. the kinky hair. It was kinky curly. That is what my hair is considered. It doesn't make it special, better to tame or anything. I had my ups and downs with my hair growing up. It had its moments. It's kind of like a bad or a good day. You have your bad days, you have your good days. And you're like, well, today my hair just not having it today. So I'll just, slick it back in a ponytail or something like that, or put it in a poof. Or some of us, we have Tweety birds. We put it up in the little Tweety bird, but we doing our thing with our hair. It's like, to me, our hair is our crown. A lot of people say, what? They'll say, what are you talking about? Your hair on your head is your crown. Your hair grows. You cut it off, it grows right back. You can shape it, it grows right back. You know what I mean? It's like, it's something about the hair that is important to a lot of people. But some people don't think hair is as much as important. That's why when you go on jobs and interviews and stuff like that, first thing they look at your appearance and they see, oh, she has that afro, or she has that kinky hair. Could you straighten your hair, or could you tame your hair so that it'd be more presentable for the job? No, something that I wouldn't do. But, to each his own. Some people prefer to look more European. Me, I feel you are who you are, be your true self. If you have that kinky hair, it's so many protective hairstyles that you can wear these days. You can rock it and it still looks presentable. Your hair is very important when you're out and about because it's your appearance. It's the first thing people see when they see you. They look you up, then down. So the first thing they see is your hair. So, like people always say, oh, good hair is like wavy, soft, texture hair. You can just stick your finger straight through it without any problems. But, that doesn't make it any better. A lot of people say, oh, because, if you have like a little bit of, how you said, like mix, like if you're mixed, you're going to automatically have good hair. That is not true, because you have DNAs and genetics. When those things come in hand, you never know what you're going to get, so you can be mixed and still have coarse hair. Just like it's some like white people that has coarse hair, or you see some white people with thick hair and you're like, oh, she got a lot of hair. A lot of people call it Anglo-Saxon. It's a part of it. They have thicker hair. It goes back. You just can't just say, oh, because her hair is straight and it's long, it's acceptable. Every hair is acceptable, no matter the texture. To me, I feel like kinky, the better, because I can style it, mold it, straighten it, curl it, flip it, whip it. You know what I mean? You can do so much with kinky hair. Like with straight and texture hair, you have a little bit of a struggle because you have to put it in a style, and it's not that many styles you can put it in, because with kinky hair, it's the sky's the limit. You're like, oh, I'm make a mohawk the tallest mohawk ever, because it'll stay, because it got that weight to it. Because thick hair is good hair, but they say, what is good hair? Straight hair is good hair, but what is good hair? That's why I always say there is no such thing as good hair. Your hair is your crown. Wear it presentable. Take care of it, moisturize it, condition it. Like nowadays, we do like the deep conditions, which is good for your scalp, your hair, your follicles, because if you don't treat your scalp right and you just got hair, you're going to start missing spots. You don't walk around looking like, a leopard or anything like that. You just, you got to take care of just like take care of your body, you take care of your hair. Everything goes hand in hand. So that's just my point of view of the so-called good hair.
I don't think we pointed this out, but Dom does hair and has for a while, right? Like years. So she knows what she's talking about. And I love that perspective, because you're like, it's such an open perspective. I think it's great.
Thank you. I don't do hair no more. I stopped. People get picky. I can't make you Beyonce. I can try.
Megan, I think like you've also got like an interesting or have an interesting perspective on what good hair is.
So all my life I've been told that I had good hair. And I, as like a person with curly hair, I always wanted straight hair. I was like, oh, I just love it, my hair just be straight. And I could wear it down because I never wore my hair down, like never. The only time my hair was down was if my mom had set it and it was picture day. Like picture day at school, I got to wear my hair down. Or like Christmas, special occasions, I was allowed to wear my hair down. Any other time, it was in 2 braids all the time. So for me, I always wanted like straighter hair so that I could wear it down because I could never wear my hair down. So so for me, I like people would tell me I had good hair, and I was like, I hate my hair. So that is like a part of it. And then I think, as I've become an adult, I'm like, I've, learned how to manage my own hair. Right now I don't have very much of it, but that's a different story. So that was me growing up. It's like my hair was always in 2 braids, but people all the time told me that my hair was good. And watching Chris Rock's movie about good hair, there was a little commercial, like clip it in there, that was the Just For Me hair relaxer that was like targeted for kids, young, kids of color, Black children, to, relax and straighten their hair. And I saw that commercial and I saw those girls and they were just so cute and they were, like nothing like me and but were representative of like Black people, like like I'm Black, why don't I look? So for me it was kind of an opposite, like I'm Black, why don't I look like them, why don't I have that hair? And I remember asking my mom if we could get some Just For Me, and she was like, girl, no. Like, you don't need that will destroy your hair. I was like, but I want it. Look at the girls in the commercial, like a kid, any kid. Like, I saw it on TV. I have to have it. So I had kind of the opposite experience of like having good hair and wanting hair that like at sometimes, wanting straight hair so that I could wear it down, and at other times, like wanting to be able to rock a cornrow, and I can't. Like I've had it done once, and I think it started to come undone like 3 days after I got it, and that's not cheap. I mean, for us, like my family, I grew up like I guess sort of in a suburb area. Like a lot of our friends that were close to us were white. So when I told my mom I wanted cornrows, like we had to go find somebody because I didn't have an aunt or an uncle or somebody in my family who could do it. So we had to go pay money for someone to cornrow my hair, for it then to be like a mess 3 days later because it doesn't have the right texture to hold that. So that's sort of, I guess, that's my feel. Like I think now we're like, I personally like my hair now, and I think that has more to do with learning how to manage it. Like when you don't know how to manage and don't know how to take care of your hair, then you're not going to like your hair. When you do learn how to do those things, you will appreciate your hair more, I feel. So that's my perspective on good hair. I do agree with Danica, or Dom. I don't think it's something that we should say. I don't think it's something people of color should say to other people or to their children, because it does leave you with an impression. Children are impressionable. That's the whole point of like childhood, is that like you're young and you're impressionable and you absorb everything like a sponge. And I think if we were to stop saying things like, oh, you've got good hair, or you don't have good hair, we're going to put a relaxer on it, then that child has to grow up, and it's more of a barrier for them to realize that their hair is good and that they can manage their hair without putting a relaxer in it. And, not that that's bad. If that's what you want to do with your hair, awesome. But I think it's more of like, if it's what you want to do with your hair rather than what someone told you had to do to your hair. And I think when we talk about the term good hair, I think that's the pressure that it puts on people, is that you have to do this to your hair so that it is good. Sorry, Mecca?
Well, I think we should get into that more later about the term hair.
Oh, totally.
For sure. Do we want to jump into questions for Dom?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I'm going to say, has anybody asked any questions on the Twitch? No.
But if anyone out there does have questions for Dom or for the group, go ahead and throw them in. I'm watching. But we already have some questions. So Dom did hair for a while. So the first question is like, how did you start, and sort of like, where do you learn techniques?
Okay, so I started after I got my hair done by a friend in high school. It was for my prom. She done my hair for the prom, and I was like, oh my God, I was so happy. I wanted my hair to look like Aaliyah from that Are You Really Somebody video. And she did my hair just like that, like literally. And I was like, oh, I love you, blah, blah, blah. So ever since she done it, I was like, oh my gosh, she done my hair so good. I want to do hair now. So after she'd been doing my hair, I actually took it upon myself to practice on myself and my sister. So that's how I got started. I used my sister as a guinea pig. And she helped me out a lot. My sister was like, what are you doing? No, that hurt. Ow, ow, ow. And I was like, okay, let me slow up. So then I said, I'm going to go to school for it. So I started going to school. Actually, y'all, I went to 2 schools. I went to Ogle, and then I went to medical school. So I was doing 2 things at one time. So I had to get dedicated to one. But while I was in her school, they taught me the essence of taking care of your hair. Like, it was procedures to actually treating your hair where it can grow, where it can be healthy, where it can look like it has that bounce, the shine. It looks really, really, really nice, because some people, they can just walk outside and their hair just blow, and you're like, ooh, you got something in there, girl? And she was like, no, it's my hair. I grew it. And I was like, really? I was like, oh, I got like a track or 2. She said, well, I wouldn't know if you wouldn't have told me. And I was like, oh, okay. See, it was so many steps that I had to learn about approaching people, trying to say, oh, you got something in there. And they're like, don't do that. If they have nice looking hairstyle, just say, oh, your hair looks nice. And I was like, oh, okay. And it was like, you don't know anything. I said, no, I'm learning. They was like, we're going to show you. So book-wise, I learned about scalp treatment, conditioning, follicles, and how to take care of your hair, especially when it's damaged. A lot of people don't know that their hair is damaged, and they just walk around and say, oh, I'm fit to go do this. I'm fit to go transform my hair or transition my hair. I want to do natural. I don't want to do perm anymore. It's just so much that goes into that, the transition from perm hair to natural. You're going to have to end up cutting or letting that perm grow, and you're still going to have to cut your hair because it's damaged. You don't put heat on it. done so much. Some people dye their hair a lot. So they put more chemicals with dye, and it comes with bleach and all like that. So it's a lot you have to think about when considering your hair. And that's actually not easy. You can find somebody and say, oh, they do my hair. And then you wonder why you're in the seat and your hair is falling out. Not everybody knows what they're doing. They can have a license. They can say, oh, come to my shop. But when you're in the seat, you don't like how your hair look or your scalp is burning. You're like, why is my scalp burning? This person that used to do my hair doesn't do my hair like how you do. It's just a lot goes on with it. Everyone does hair different. So it's like you have to be careful. And when I learned a lot from that school, even though I stopped going because I was committed to 2 schools at one time, I still picked up so much educational behind hair. Because that's very important. A lot of people are like, oh, I would never think you have to learn so much doing hair. It's way more to just doing hair.
So we also had a question about at beauty schools, at hair schools. Like it seems like the education for Black hair specifically isn't very involved, and it's like a small part of the curriculum. Is that what you experienced, or?
No, that's not true. When you go to hair school, you're gonna have to learn. Same way with barber school. Can't just get some clippers and start just cutting people up, because then your client gonna come out of there with a chili bowl that's lopsided, or an edge up that's ain't right. It's like a slope, or they might come out with the gumpy hairstyle. And they didn't ask for that. So it's a lot that comes to that. It's just you can't just do it. Like they teach you, those instructors, those beauticians, that they've been doing it for years. They take it very serious, because a lot of them go to competitions, and a lot of competitions are in different places, and they actually get like credit for that. That's going towards their how you say it, their place of work, or that goes towards them. Like they get recognition for that as well. Because you can, once you learn it and you get bigger than, most people, they're going to say, oh, well, how you learn to do it? You have to take, it's patience when you're doing hair. You can rush and mess up, and your client walk out of there mad at you, trying to sue you, or you can take your time, get it done right, talk to your client, get to know your client, build a relationship. Your client will always come back to you. They'll even recommend other people to you. But it's so much then. A lot of people think, oh, because I go to a Black school, a Black beautician school, or as they call it, oh, it's a hole in the wall institution. They don't teach you that good. You're like, no, they actually teach. They have to teach you. You can't walk out of there and think, oh, I've been doing hair for blah, blah. If you've been doing hair, you wouldn't have these problems. You have to learn. It's a learning process. They're not going to throw you out there. You'll be a shampoo girl forever. If you don't know what you're doing, they're not going to put you in no one's hands, because that's actually a crime. You can do someone's hair. They can go to jail for that.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's their hair. If they mess up your hair and you come out of that shop and you got the whole head missing, or it's burned, you got some stuff, you can call the cops on them. And you do not have to pay. You can refuse to pay because the service was terrible.
That I had no idea, because I have had some bad experiences at hair salon. I wouldn't call the cops or anything, but I have definitely left a hair salon mad. Like, you did not.
It make you want to slap a beautician, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some of them out there that make you want to just say, you know what? You need to go back to beauty school. And they'll be like, what? They'll get upset. I don't care what race they are. It don't even matter. Your life is in that person's hands when they're doing your hair. It's just like when you go to the hospital, that's your life in that person's hands.
Do you think that the perception that, they don't teach that in school is more based on the amount of like salons that do, ethnic hair?
Well, okay, repeat it one more time. I want to make sure I get it right. I'm trying to make sure I get it right.
So I think our sort of thought behind the question was that, you know, there are a lot of people who, like, you go into a salon and they say, oh, well, I don't do, you know, that. I don't do that hair. And so then I think the layperson, my perception is that, like, oh, they didn't teach you that in school. So I guess I'm asking you, do you think that that's where that comes from? That people...
Well, some people, when they go to a beauty shop, they ask for a lot. A lot of clients do. And some beauticians are still learning. Like, you can have she's still new. She only been there for a week. And she probably don't know how to do every style. It's techniques that they know. Some of them are still in school, but they work at a shop already. So it's like, and some of them are fresh out the beauty school, and they work in a shop, but they never had any clients. But they know how to do hair, but no one would give them a chance. So it's like when you come up to them and ask them, oh, do you know how to do twists? And they like, well, I never done twists, so I'm not really good at it. They should just show you to a person that does that in the shop. Because most shops now, they have people that have specialties in what they do. They're like, well, she specialized in wigs. Because, you know, they have wigs now, the frontals and all, like the glueless, all the wigs. Yeah, they got some bad wigs now, make it like it's your natural hair. But they have people that specialize in braids only, and they have people that specialize in locks. So now when you go to the shops, they have like a variety. It's not just one-sided. When you go into the shop, you might even have a nail tech in the shop nowadays. It's like everything is open. So you can go into the shop and say, well, it says on your ad that you know how to do this updo. They're going to give you to that beautician that does that updo. They're not going to just see you say, oh, here, Mary know how to do it. And Mary probably say, I never done that before. See, that's confusion. So now you'll be in a shop where it's so much going on in that shop, but they know what they're doing.
That makes a lot of sense. So I think another question that we had for you was, what's the difference between like working for, you know, friends and family and doing hair kind of when you feel like it and doing hair in a shop?
Well, when you work in a shop, it comes with a lot of bills because you have to pay your booth rent and you have to make sure you have enough clients. Working for yourself at home, it's kind of whatever goes. You can charge them whatever because it's you. In a shop, you can charge them your prices in a shop. But say, for instance, family and friends, you can say, oh, that's my homegirl. Just pay me like, what, $60 or something like that. Versus in the shop, that'll be $160. See how the price changed dramatically? So the shop, it's more expensive because you have to pay that booth rent. And you also got to have a percentage for yourself as well. It's like a bill. But at home, in your kitchen, or in a back room somewhere, like some people have their own shops in their homes, they don't have to worry about paying booth rent, but they do have to pay rent or their bills. So they can charge you basically whatever they want because you're actually coming to their house. Or even if they're coming to you, like a mobile beautician or hairstylist or whatever, when they come to you, that's gas right there. So say, for instance, you stay in Rowlett and they are like what, in Duncanville, that's far. That's gas money right there. So they can charge you basically whatever they want.
I think Megan had to step off. So I think our next question, and they get into this a little bit in the Good Hair documentary, but the amount of money that is spent and the amount of time that is spent to get some of these hairstyles. And like if Ashley wants to chip in or Joe wants to chip in, I don't know. But I know Ashley has spent some time and some money in her hair. If we were to talk about
The
that.
struggle. Yeah, the struggle. One thing I was going to chime in on what Dom was talking about, just piggybacking off of that, is a little bit of the cost also, and something that like you got to think about is when you go to a shop, those ladies have to be licensed with the state. And that is the reason why you can actually, if you injure someone or do something, you can go to jail because you are legally responsible for handling the chemicals and ensuring the client's safety because you are legally bound with your license. You are licensed with the state. But when you go to someone's house, I mean, either way, you're kind of taking your hair in your own hands and good luck to you. But more so, definitely, like you have that kind of net of knowing that someone is licensed when you go into a shop, that their license has to be new and current because they do get shopped by the state and they have to keep those records up to date. Like they do not play. And if it lapses, then you have to go through this long process. Like it's not a really easy thing. So
That totally makes sense. I never thought about that, but that totally makes sense.
yeah, because if you're doing the courses, you got to pay for courses every couple of months to keep on top of the trends, to learn the new products, to learn new techniques, to like all of that goes into like the cost as well as booth fees and like quality supplies. Because I mean, you go to somebody's house and you don't know what they're washing your hair with, if they even wash your hair. 9 times out of 10, you have to like there will be a little note in the post that says clean hair before you get here. Hair needs to be washed and dried. And if it's not washed and dried, they will charge you extra and they will wash your hair with whatever they have. And that's just kind of the risk that you run. But that's not what I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about sitting in a chair for 8 hours or 9 hours sometimes and paying hundreds of dollars to get my hair done, which I have spent probably thousands on a regular visit for a relaxer. When I got relaxers, it was like I would say, so a relaxer, wash, deep condition, which I would only get a deep condition if I like got a bonus at work or something, and a cut and style. I mean, with tip, $200, $225 easily. I didn't get the deep condition a whole lot because I added quite a bit. So normally my bill would be around $150 with tip because deep conditions are awesome, but they can run you quite a bit more. But yeah, I mean, you go in, if your stylist starts on time, it's a blessing. It's rare. I mean, I got there sometimes and my stylist wasn't even in the building, in the physical building. So I had to sit there and wait for my stylist to get there to start my hair. She eventually gets there, she starts my hair, and then it's more waiting because you have to go under the hair dryer for at least an hour. My hair was so coarse, but it was literally hour chunks of time under the dryer. And there's only so much you can look at on your phone. I found it very relaxing. You have this like mechanical hum in your ears and then warm air blowing on you. It's kind of like being in a sauna. I would just kind of fall asleep, be snoring in the chair. I did not care. I mean, what else you gonna do? Like truly.
That is so funny that you say that because I, for that very reason, hate going to get my hair done.
Really?
There is just only so much you can do on your phone, and I'm just sitting there thinking about all the other shit that I could be getting done instead of sitting underneath this flipping hair dryer for an hour.
And I guess, I don't know, is when I did get my hair relaxed, to me, it felt worth it because that was a few months of time where I didn't have to really worry about styling my hair. And that is the primary reason why I started relaxing my hair, is just because my hair is so textured. Even now with the locks, I mean, it grows so fast. So maintenance is garbage, and just trying to manage how much moisture is enough moisture. Oh wait, this is too much. Oh wait, no, that product causes, like, it's just, I maintain these and I started these from start to current all myself. So I never went to a shop. I've never had a professional's hands touch my head. One of my mom, she actually helped me kind of start them, but outside of that, like, it's been full on maintenance myself. And I could tell you that if I could have somebody do this for me, because it literally, like, if I sit down and do it straight, I would say if I started about noon, I would probably finish like tightening and cleaning up and everything 3 a.m., 4 a.m.
Whoa.
And that's if I work, like if I put on Netflix, I power through and I work straight through, because I have to go through and individually tighten every single one of them. And I tried to count them the last time I did my retighten, and I just got so frustrated by the end of it. I was like, oh, I don't care. I don't care. I do not care. I'm tired of touching my hair and I'm ready to go to sleep.
That's so interesting, because I think the perception of locks is that it's like
because
super
somebody
low
else does them.
maintenance.
That's why the perception, because somebody else is doing them. The people who say that are not doing their own hair. Also, a lot of the people who say that, oh, natural hair is so low maintenance, that's a crock. That is an absolute crock. It takes more products. It takes longer time to find the right balance of the right products. You spend so much money over months, years. I mean, Dom can attest to this. Like, it's a struggle, and not everybody has the money. And that's another thing. It's a class thing, kind of, because in one sense, oh, well, you're trying to assimilate if you have straight hair. Not everybody has, $75, $100 to sink into a new collection for natural hair to see if it works for their hair. Like, not everybody has that. Because you can pretty much tell within a few uses of a product that something is going to work for you or not. And then if it doesn't work for you, then guess what? You're out there $75, $100. Like, how many times can you do that before you just say, I'm throwing in the towel? I can no longer afford the natural lifestyle, because I don't care what you say, you just can't throw coconut oil on it and make it work. That's not how it works. I wish it did. Like, cocoa butter dreams would be great if you could just rub some cocoa butter. That's not realistic. Like, you need a detangler, you need a deep conditioner, you need a pre-poo, you need you need all these things depending on your texture and type of hair. And for me, I have a very needy head of hair. So I found it dropping that $150, $200 every 8 to 12 weeks. I saved hundreds of dollars. When I was natural and out, even before I did this, the amount of money and just time and frustration, styles that wouldn't work because I didn't have the right product. So then you've wasted all the time with nothing to show for it, because your hairstyle is trash. Like, it's absolute trash.
So, Dom, do you feel like it's the same thing? Like, when it comes
a lot of hair products. Nowadays they have a lot of products that's coming out with natural texture products, but it's a lot of hair products out there that the price of them is ridiculous.
It is.
It's like they tell you, oh, this works. It doesn't work for everyone. Not at all. It's like you have to go through product to find what works for you, and spent up your whole check. Even your baby looking at you like, what we about to eat? And you like her product. So it's like you can't do that, because like just washing your hair and even just putting some type of oil on it, it helps out. But oil only goes so much, because your scalp
is not enough.
It's not enough, because your scalp eats that oil. Like, you can put oil on that night before, put your little juice rag on. Well, I put my scarf wrap on. So I put my scarf wrap on. I wake up in the morning. I'm like, oh my God, is that a
thirsty?
She's super thirsty. So I have to go back, get some oil, put it on there again. I'm like mid into work, and somebody was like, oh, you got a patch right there. I'm like, get out my head. So it's a lot you have to do, especially with that, because you want to keep your hair moisturized. That's the most important thing. If you can just find a good moisturizer, just the moisturizer alone that will work for you,
even that is hard.
Perfect. Like, just find something that will work for you. It doesn't have to be what you see on TV. It doesn't have to be what's on Instagram or Facebook. It's just what works for you. Every product that they have out there doesn't work for everyone, but depending on, your hair. Your hair has days. whatever works good for your hair will work good for your hair. Because I have a friend, she's white, her name is Lizzie, and she used Curl's daughter, but she has real curly hair. Like some days it's like a French fry, and then some days it's like a McDonald's fry. You never know what you're gonna get with hers. But
again, it goes back to not everybody can afford to try every single product to try and
yeah,
figure out what will work
yeah,
for them.
she bought the Curl's daughter, and then she was like, "It's so expensive," and I was like, "Well, yeah, it's a whole line you have to buy." And she was like, "No, I can't afford the whole line. Not working at James Avery." So I was like, "Well, you better stick to just some shampoo or something, because any hair product line, it can be Suave, it can be Dove, it can be whatever. That product, you have to buy the whole line in order for it to have some type of something to your hair, because your hair will eat it up, and then it eat up your pockets."
So do you, as like in good hair, they talk about like how much a sew-in costs or how much.
Gosh.
So I guess my question then is, do you then spend like you go and you get your sew-in and that costs like, I mean, according to the movie, like thousands of dollars sometimes, and then you have to treat that hair like your natural hair? Is that
Yes, you wash it, you maintain
You
it.
have to.
expensive?
You have to treat that like your hair, even though it's not your hair. You can take it out, but that hair is your hair while it's in your head, while it's sewn down to your scalp, to that braid, should I say? That's your hair. I actually did a sew-in on Ashley, and it was curly hair. That was her first sew-in, and she loved it.
It was my second. The first
Oh,
one
your
didn't
second,
make
my
it
bad.
24 hours. I drove to Oklahoma and literally got home from training, got back to my hotel, and was picking the stitches out in my car on the way back to the hotel. It was
Why?
awful because it was so unbelievably itchy. That's also when I learned that I had an allergy to fake hair.
Yes.
And it's not an allergy to the hair. What it is they actually treat almost all of the hair with an anti mildew chemical.
Mm.
And what I never realized is with the synthetic hair, they treat all of it no matter what. I mean, I literally felt like I was on fire. Like I thought I was on fire. It was horrible. And it gave me like my whole face was covered in like a really fine rash. Yeah, it was. And that wasn't even the last time. Like I got back home and through the years did it a few more times before I actually realized, oh, wait, I am literally like having an allergic reaction to this. This is not what it's supposed to feel like.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, it is really nuts. But you have to actually boil the synthetic hair in apple cider vinegar. It's hot, I'm telling you.
Yeah, because
It
when they
ain't
put in
easy.
synthetic hair, you don't know what fiber or chemicals is on there because it's not real hair at all. Nowadays, they make synthetic hair with real hair, so it's like it's kind of like a hybrid, Basically, it's two things in one, but it's still not real, like natural hair. Even when you buy bundles and stuff like that, that's supposed to be real hair, which it is real hair, but you still have to wash it because you don't know where it's coming from.
It's
You
just
don't
like you would
know.
wash underwear or bra or
Hmm.
like any of that kind of things before it kind of goes the same thing when it comes to your hair.
Yeah, before you even put it in, you have to wash it.
There are a ton of people who, just because I'm going to get off track, there are a ton of people who do not wash it after
No,
they
you're
buy
true.
it and just wear it. So, just FYI, everybody out there, I used to work in a warehouse. Wash your clothes and your underwear and your bras and all that stuff.
Everything.
Wash it before you
Everything.
put it on because those warehouses are nasty.
Mm.
Sorry about that. Just brief little aside there. I think we had one more question for Dom specifically, Micah.
Yeah, our last question is sort of a tricky one. But we were talking about how hairstylists and barbers sort of stand in as like therapists for their clients, because like you're stuck in a chair for 7-8 hours, and you like, who are you going to talk to? And if you have any like experience with that, and like how that goes, I guess, like, it's something you, or is it a little weird? Does it even happen that you like
Yeah.
end up being a therapist?
Well, yeah, I actually am a therapist in so many different ways. I have had a lot of clients that get in the chair, they chat with me. Like I said, you make a connection with that person because you're doing their hair. So it's like they're gonna talk to you. They're gonna be asking questions, and then they'll just start telling their whole life story. So it's like, oh, okay, like, well, yeah, and they ask you for advice, and it become for the client more so than me therapeutic because there's somebody that they don't really know. It's like they can talk to you without a feedback as much because you're not gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna judge you right now. But the hair shop can get messy because the other beauticians can hear as well. So it's kind of like they'll be like, oh, girl, I heard what your client said. You be like, nah, it's up to that beautician to say, no, they just need to release some stuff. It don't have to get messy, but, some clients actually feel comfortable talking to like strangers because the stranger is not going to judge them versus someone that they know that will judge them. So it does become therapeutic for them. It does have like a stress relief. Then they get to get out the chair and they get to look at their hair and be like, oh my God, I look
Feel like a new
different. I look
person.
different. Yeah, you done two things in one. So, yes, it's very therapeutic.
That makes a lot of sense.
And it's cool. Like, it's cool to have that relationship, I think.
Yeah. Because you don't see them every day. You only see them every 2 weeks.
Right. Do we want to jump into like our questions for the group?
I think so. And so I think while we're doing questions for the group, I feel like we're all adults here and we can manage not to talk over each other. I think it would be a better conversation if we could all kind of, instead of like talking one at a time. What do you think, Micah?
We could try it for sure. See what happens.
Let's try it.
Our first question is about straightening your hair or styling your hair in order to look more professional for interviews or for work or to fit into situations. Like, do any of you ever feel like my hair needs to look a certain way in order to fit in or in order to get the job, or like situations like that?
No. This is dumb. No, I don't think so. I don't know what you guys think, but I won't change my hair for a job.
And if like somebody offered you a job but said, oh, but you can't wear your hair like that, you have to straighten it or it has to be different, you wouldn't do it?
No.
I wouldn't do it myself, but I know back when I used to wear afros and stuff that I did not get positions for the way I wore my hair, or if I had cornrows or something like that. I lost out on opportunities, especially being light skinned and wearing that. And people's like, wait a minute, huh? Because honestly, ethnically, they didn't understand because most people think I'm Hispanic anyway. You know what I mean? And so for me, that was I know that they didn't come out and say, hey, we want you to change your hairstyle, but I know the skills that I brought to the table and the fit for the position and the way I interact with them on in the interview on a dialogue level and everything was all good.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that could have kept me from that job is the way I presented myself, which is honestly in a professional manner, other than my braids were, over my shoulder and I had beads on the end to keep the tails down. You know what I'm saying?
Did you change your hair to like negate that? Did you like after you had a bad interview, you were like, oh, I got to change what's going on?
The only thing that really caused me to change my hairstyle at that time was keeping an afro in the summertime. If you can't afford to keep it braided, it's quite hot. It's quite hot. And so, but no, I'm like Dom. There's no way that I'm gonna change my hairstyle or whatever for any type of job opportunity or whatever. My hair and the way I wear it is partial to me, and you know, it's not like I just had my hair braided and let it get all messed up. If it wasn't right, I would have my afro and I'd wet it up so it looked curly or whatever, but it was still, you know, pretty significant amount of hair for me anyway. And so, yeah, no, if it was an issue of me changing my hair or getting a job, well, I just have to find the proper employment opportunity that has the type of culture to accept my hairstyles, whatever they may be. I'm not going to change myself for the job. The job has to just accept me how I come, you know?
I suspect that if a job didn't want to hire you because of how your hair looked, you're going to have other issues down the line, you know?
I would think so.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point because I know so I definitely when my hair was long and I would go on a job interview, I would wear my hair differently. I worked in a dental office. So when I was working, my hair was always up in a ponytail. You never saw my hair down, you know, but it's not professional to go into a job interview with, you know, my big curly hair up in, you know, my ponytail. I'm rocking a little afro puff back here because I've got this like giant mane of curly hair. So when I go for a job interview, I'd like wear it half up, half down, you know, make sure it had all the conditioner in it and it was laying flat and it looked nice. Because I definitely, you know, even though that's not how I wore it every day once I was hired, that was I felt I needed to put that impression of like, I can maintain my body. Like I'm a responsible adult and I can maintain, you know, this. Whereas I felt if I like showed up the way they would see me every day while I was working, then they wouldn't have hired me. I don't know. Micah, Elizabeth, it's very quiet over there. Have you ever changed your hair?
I think it's similar but different. Like when I go on job interviews, I want to look like I can take care of myself for sure, but also that I can do physical labor. So there's like but it's not like no one's ever going to tell me to change my hair, right? Like the only time is like pull your hair back because it's safer. I think with white people, they're like, I don't understand what your hair is doing, and I don't like afros. I don't understand how you maintain it or something. And that's a little bit, it comes from fear, I think, or not understanding. And that is obviously has never happened to me.
I can understand that. But you like, I know for a while, Micah, you straightened your hair all of the time. Was that because like it was easier to manage, or was that like a perception thing? Like my hair is nicer if it is straightened.
I think it is easier to manage because I don't understand curly hair. Growing up, I like had stick straight hair, and it was like just that's how it was. And so when it started to go curly, I didn't understand what was going on. I still don't, quite frankly. So it's easier for me to straighten. But there is a little bit of like you want like the straight hair or the perfect curls. Like you can't have messy curls. They need to be like the soft, wavy, big curls. And I think Elizabeth has sort of a similar issue because she's got curly hair. You're muted.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say from like 14 through maybe 16, I thought like I discovered hair straightening and I thought that was the only way that my hair would look good. And that was the only way I would look good. And then I think I just got sick of it sometime in high school, and I realized that it looked fine curly. But I still, so like, yeah, my mom had straight hair, and I got my curly hair from my dad, but he keeps his hair short. So like nobody could help me. Like YouTube has been, and Instagram have been amazing for learning how to take curly hair. But yeah, so even when I stopped straightening it, it was like, I still don't, like, this is just a mess. I don't know what to do with it. Like, sometimes I'll try something. I didn't realize, like, the amount, like, I didn't realize that I really can't put too much product in my hair, because it's like, my hair, it's like, my scalp is oily, my hair is dry. But yeah, it's like the amount of product that makes it look nice makes my hair oily. So there's still kind of no, like, there's no soft, it looks soft, but it does not feel soft. It's still, I really like it. I like the way it looks. I'm really excited that my kids, like, all the time are like, I really like your curly hair. Cause yeah, I was like, oh, you guys, it's nice to have somebody actually compliment the curls when, like, I just, like, yeah, curly hair wasn't a thing in the late 90s unless it was like moosed and like that wet look. I didn't want to do that. I didn't know about scrunch. I don't think anybody knew about scrunching it out at that point. But yeah, it's
Not that wet, crunchy, curly.
yeah. Yeah, that I don't think
I
was
rocked
flattering
that look a
either.
couple times.
But yeah, I mean, it does. It has its own challenges. But yeah, I'm happier working with my hair the way it is. And actually, as soon as I learned how to sleep on it and not mess up the curl, like, it's been amazing. It looks so much better. Because yeah, straight hair used to be easier maintenance for me too. But I just learned to work with it finally. So at this point, yeah, it's actually less work to keep it curly, because I just, like, it takes a little bit of a refresh in the morning, but it took a long time to even get to this point. So yeah. And yeah, at this point, I don't think I'd be straightening it for anything. That takes way too much time and it's damaging. So.
All right. So we had another. So in the movie, they talk about how women of color who have, whether it's weave or tracks or wigs or they, straighten hair, do not want anyone to touch their hair ever. So I think we specifically Joe, but like Ashley and Dom, like I would love for you guys to chime in, because I feel like people always touch my hair. I remember when we were in junior high, Micah used to run up and like grab my ponytail. And it was never like a thing for me. Like people just, and maybe I was just desensitized because everyone always touched my hair. So I never like had the thought of like, why would you do that? But like, I would love to hear, Joe, your opinion about like, Black women who won't let you touch their hair. Like, do you feel intimate with them? Ashley, Dom, like, how do you feel like a partner touching your hair?
All right. So, quickly for me, first things first, because exactly what you said, everybody had no, they didn't have any respect for your personal space when it came to your hair or whatever. So everybody's always in my head, touching my hair. Oh, it's so soft. It feels so nice and all this stuff. So I didn't, because people didn't respect my boundary, and not that I, at a young age, knew that I had that boundary at the time. But so I took that. And so quick story, my uncle's wife, she had beautiful hair, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't know, so I just went to touch it or whatever. Turns out some of that beautiful hair was a track. You know what I'm saying? I almost knocked the track out. I learned very quickly that you just don't mess with a Black woman's hair, but much less that. I just took it a step further, and I don't mess with a woman's hair unless it's cool. So I took that lesson that I learned from my uncle's wife, and I took that into any relationship that I have. I enjoy if whatever the texture is. If I can put my hands in your hair, I like that. I think that's a good form of intimacy, showing that you know, I care for all of you. You know what I'm saying? And your hair is included in that. But some people just don't like their hair messed with. Sometimes, as all the ladies on this panel can attest to, sometimes you put a lot of effort just to get your hair somewhat where you want it to be. It not even be all the way there. Or maybe put a whole bunch of money and, you know, went from noon till 3 in the morning tightening it up, or been in a chair and getting braided up, or however it goes. I'm gonna make sure that you okay with any way that I want to touch your hair. You know what I'm saying? As far as intimacy, or just, hey, I think your hair is very pretty. I've never touched a dreadlock before. Can I check that out? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make sure that I got your permission. Whether, like, you can ask my wife. Sometimes my wife, she does her hair, and it takes her a while to get the curls. I think, as Elizabeth was saying, the wet mousse kind of wavy spiral. You know what I'm saying? That's what the goal is, and she'll achieve that. And I best not touch her hair at all, not never. You know what I'm saying? So that's my 2 cents on that. But there are a lot of black women that and I think it may go to a what did one of the articles say? Kind of a conditioning, a colonization type of mentality, to where if your hair is natural, then you know what I'm saying. They don't want you to touch it, and I think it touches something in the core. Not necessarily that the hair is so done up that they don't want you to touch it, but I think it's something like, my hair is not straight, it's not soft, it's not this or that, which is what society tells you your hair should be. And so I think it's something inside themselves. Not all black women, but some black women that I've noticed, that maybe that's an underlying issue of them not wanting to have their hair touched, whether it be, for exploratory purposes or in an intimate way. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna bow out on that and let some of the other ladies, put their 2 cents as well.
Yeah. I think that's an interesting point, like, that you made, is that, like, even though my hair is natural or whatever, maybe I don't want you to touch it right now because it's not going to feel the way you expect it to feel, or it's not going to feel the way you want it to feel. And so therefore don't touch my hair. I think that's a really interesting perspective and point. Like, I don't think I would have thought of that. Ashley, Dom?
So for me, I've never had an issue, like whether I was relaxed or natural, or even with my locks. The only time that I really had a problem, I guess, with someone touching my hair, is if it was unsolicited. So if they just were coming up with the hand, I'm like, I don't know you. Please don't touch me. Why are you in my space? But like any other time, I mean, honestly, I've gotten so used to, I guess, the disappointment of getting your hair done, of like getting a hairstyle, as I said, for your wedding, Elizabeth. Like, I can remember I have the most beautiful picture of my hair, perfect, like spiral set curl. It's, I mean, awesome. And then by the time I got to your wedding, I looked like James Brown. It just puffed out. It was the hottest mess. And I was like, this is not what I wanted. It looked so beautiful, and nobody will ever know it. So you might as well just touch it. I don't even care. What's the point? What's the point? Why even try? But in intimate settings, like if we're talking about intimacy with partners, oh, heck yeah. If you want to touch it, touch it. Like, even like I like do. Hey, I am secure in the security of the placement of whatever they done put in my head. And if I'm not, that's okay. It could be put back in. If I'm recently done, or like these, because they get tightened and they're tighter on my scalp, like, give me a couple days, because it's just a little sensitive. It's a little tender. But once I'm over that tender, new, fresh stage,
yeah,
sky's the limit. Run your fingers through it.
What about you, Dom?
Well, when it comes to partners, all hands on deck. That's fine. Pull it. I don't care. Like Ashley said, if I have, weave in it, it pops out, I can always put it back in, that's all good. If it's on the floor, let it there for a while. It'll get back in there. But as far as like upon sight, some people, again, they come up towards you and be like, oh, I like your hair. It's so pretty. And they want to touch it. That's a no-no. Me, yes, I am a Black woman, but don't touch my hair. I don't know where your hands been. And this is even before the pandemic. I used to be like this. I don't know where your hands been. Don't touch my hair. Because some people, they'll dig in their nose, mush it up together, and flick it. And then next thing you know, they come over there, oh, yeah, oh, don't do that. I just saw you across the room. It has happened to me. That's why I'm saying this. But yes, they will do that. Or some people dig out a booty bite and they want to tug on your hair. You know what I mean? You're like, don't do that. Or they want to pat it. Oh, wow. Just your hands, keep them to yourself. It's good to look with your eyes and not with your hands. That's a very old saying that is still used to this day.
That's so funny that you give that example of like not knowing where people, their hands have been or whatever. When I was little, there was a girl in my class who used to suck her thumb. She sat next to me. She would suck her thumb and play with the end of my ponytail. And it was like it was just creepy. Like even as a child, I was like, this is weird. Like could just back away. I don't know.
Did you tell her to stop?
Huh?
Did you tell her to stop?
No, I was like, as a child, like I was very like quiet and like was not the outspoken person that I am now. As a kid, I was very like, this is fine. Like it's weird, but whatever. It's fine. Now definitely not. Definitely not let somebody do that to my hair. But yeah, like she was in my class. She was a year older than me, and every day.
The faces me and Ashley are making on this story, we're like, what?
So I totally get you on that one. I feel like it's the same thing like when you're pregnant. Like when you're pregnant, people want to come up and touch your belly. Like, what is wrong with you?
I don't want my baby to look like you. Don't touch my stomach. That was my theory.
I think like the general takeaway is like, don't touch people without permission, which seems really obvious. But I think particularly when it comes to hair and when it comes to pregnant women, it seems okay socially, and it's not really, guys. It's not.
It's not. It's not okay.
Are we ready to jump to our next question?
Yeah. What's our next one?
So we touched on this earlier a little bit, but do you think the term good hair is offensive or damaging in general? Like, should we stop using the phrase, oh, you have good hair? And I know a couple of you guys had like strong opinions about this.
I would say, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, me and Megan being light or whatever, me being mixed or whatever, it's not an attack. It's meant to be complimentary in a way, but I think it also makes you realize that you set apart because you not, you know what I'm saying? Oh, so I have good hair, which is good to you, but I'm still not dark enough or black enough or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Depending on where the compliment's coming from. And then within the community itself, hearing one of your peers tell you, oh, you got good hair, it's like, what you trying to say? Is that a true compliment? Or are you saying that I'm, again, not black enough or whatever, So I guess it depends on the context of which is given and who it's coming from and you know, how you perceive that. Me myself, I'm gonna try not to use the term anymore. You know what I'm saying? For me myself and how it made me feel in my youth, knowing that I was mixed and I didn't know if this person meant it. You know, I mean, they could have been being complimentary and saying you got good hair because you only have. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to take those thoughts or provide that type of things to worry about or things to think about. You know, why did they say that? What were they trying to say? You know, were they putting me on blast or were they truly just like, wow, I really like your hair. I wish I had your hair. And I know I've said that to my peers. Mago, of course, I meant it with love, but again, I understand now that we both, I think, understood where I was coming from in that context. But at the same time, after reflecting on it and having some of these conversations, really made me kind of question on maybe not everybody had good intentions when they used to tell me that or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is I'm gonna try to eliminate the term. I don't want to use it anymore for me, my friends, or my children. You know what I'm saying?
I think my feeling is sort of the same way as Joe's, is that, you know, because I mean, I don't think I've ever had a white person say, "Oh, you got good hair," unless they grew up with black people. So, but it is like, to me, it's always kind of a backhanded compliment. Like, oh, like it's like, oh, you bougie. Like, oh, you bougie, you got good hair. I'm like, I'm not any of those things. Like, I'm just a person. Like, it is in a sense just my hair, but it's also my hair. Like, I was born with it. I can't change it, just like you can't change yours. But it does come off sometimes as a judgment on who I am and my blackness and where I fit in the black community. So I don't say it. You know, I don't tell anybody they have good hair. I feel like it's so unnecessary. Like, can't you just say your hair is nice? Like, you have nice hair. Why do you have to put good in front of that? Because saying you have good hair means that somewhere there's bad hair, right? You can't have a good without a bad. So why not just say nice? You have nice hair. That's my opinion.
Or you can say you have like good texture.
Or just, I like the texture of your hair. Or
Yeah.
I feel like again, if you know, it's good and evil, or, you know, if there's good, then there's bad. And nice is a perfectly acceptable word.
Just give somebody a normal compliment. We don't say, oh, you have a good face, or oh, you have a good butt, or oh, you have.
I heard that a lot.
Be quiet. Or oh, you know, you have good eyebrows. Like, just give somebody a compliment. I like your hair. Your hair is nice.
Okay, actually, would it be weird if I said I like your eyebrows? Because I do.
Yeah, I just feel like it's, can I say that I will never go back to a relaxer? No, I can't say that. Like, I know it's bad for me, but so is alcohol. So are a lot of other things. Like, sometimes it just makes me feel good. And you know what? At the end of the day, truly, that's what it is about. And if I, in 10, 15 years, decide, you know what? This lock life, I'm over it. I need the chemicals, the creamy crack. That's what they call it, the creamy crack. I need the creamy crack. And I decided that I could do that. Because, again, I've gone natural. I've gone back to relaxers so many times. I've been bleach blonde twice in my life. I've shaved all of my hair off down to the scalp, like bare a few times. Like, it is hair. It'll grow back. If I don't like it, I can change it. I just wish more people thought of it like that and realized that it is a fluid and flexible. It's its own being. Like, it can be anything that you want it to be. It is so, and there's no really wrong or right way to do it, just as long as you're happy with it and you're not hurting anybody.
Exactly. And I agree with you on that, Ashley, because, well, you and Megan and Jill, I agree with everything y'all say. Hair is a part of you. It's on your body. It's everywhere. It's some spots you want to get rid of it at, and it won't go away, but it is a part of you and your life. So it's like, you can't say, "Oh, my hair at the bottom down south is great, but it don't look like that on top of my head." You can't do that to yourself because it's gonna make you be like, "Oh, well, people in their mind they overthink things." So it's kind of like, I'm trying to keep it PG-13. Sorry about that, but it's just your hair is you. It's everything about you. So it's a part of you. It don't, like, just like you said, don't put a label on it. Don't say, "Oh, it's good hair." It's nice hair. You got nice texture. I like your curls. Oh, I like the straightness of your hair. You know, your hair length. I like your hair length. Or you can use other words. You don't have to use good all the time. Or you have great hair. Like, don't do that because you might could scare that person. They might be like, "Oh gosh, this lady crazy."
Stop.
But
Weird.
yeah, it can get awkward. It is some people that will sniff your hair. Yes.
Did you
I
say
had a lady. Yes, I had a lady when I used to work at James Avery. I dyed my hair blonde. I did go through the blonde phase too. This is before I came to work with my hair shaved off the week after. I had it in a blonde bob, and it was really cute. And the lady was like, "Oh my gosh!" First, she gave me a compliment on my lashes, and I was like, "Oh, thank you." And she was like, "You did those?" I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Oh, I paid 120 for mine." I said, "Oh, okay." You know. Long story short, I turned around. She was so close up on me. She sniffed my hair, and I was like, "Oh, ma'am, you can't sniff us." And she was like, "Oh, you smell good. I was just trying to get your scent." I was like, "My hair? It's just the oil I put on there. That's it. It's only because I dyed my hair and I put a chemical. So I put grapeseed oil on there on my hair to keep it, from drying out." She liked it the way grapeseed oil smells. She didn't know what it was called until I told her, but she literally sniffed my hair. And one of the leads at the job, they was like, "Ma'am, you can't do that. That's her privacy. You're invading her space. She'll help you, but you can't sniff her hair." She was like, "Oh no, it just smells really good." I was like, "Wow, you sniffed my head."
Wow, that just happened.
Yes,
I'm hoping
but
that was just like a particularly crazy woman and not.
no, she wasn't crazy.
Are you sure?
I wish Ashley was there that day. She probably would have laughed at that. But yeah. But yeah, your hair is kind of like everything. It's a lot of people in different cultures. They see you and your hair and the different textures that you have because we all have different textures. No one texture is alike. No one hair is just alike. We all have different type of hair. Some people have 4 different types of head on different types of hair on their head, and it's hard to like maintain and manage. So it's like you got to go through a lot with your hair. But like they said, keep it up, moisturize it, keep it clean, keep yourself clean. I know it's not part of what we're talking about, but you make sure you keep hygiene up. But you just, it's like when you take care of your body, you take care of your hair, you take care of yourself, and it will reflect. You don't have to put a lot of chemicals on it. I'm not going to say I don't put chemicals. I have before, but I don't do the creamy crack. I stopped doing the creamy crack. I really stopped doing the creamy crack. It's not healthy. I mean, it makes your hair look really nice. It does, but I mean, you have that shine and that bounce and everything, but it's messed up your scalp. Your scalp will become very damaged with the creamy crack. So I avoid the creamy crack. I've been natural for 4 years. I have actually been natural for 4 years. The only chemical I have ever put on my hair in the 4 years has been a dye, just a dye, just to give my hair a color. But it's still a chemical. But my hair, I haven't put any other like harsh damages to it, like as far as chemicals. But sometimes when bleaching your hair is in your scalp, it can damage your scalp as well. So you have to be careful with that.
Yes. I think the first time I got my hair, so the first time I ever had any like bleach or anything on my hair was back when the Spice Girls were really big, and Scary Spice had like the blonde streaks, and I was like, oh my god, I want to be Scary Spice. So like, put the cap on, and he pulled my hair through the cap, and like there were scabs. Like I had scabs on my head from like where the bleach sat on my scalp, and I was like, that can't be good. Like,
no, that's not good.
That probably shouldn't have happened. But it didn't stop me from doing it again.
Same here. I do the same thing. Like I have my hair twisted now. It's naturally twisted with extensions, but fall is coming, and I love to like dye my hair in the fall time, like autumn colors. It just gives me a different look. But as far as like putting a heat on it or anything, I wouldn't too much do that. I try to avoid as much heat as possible because heat can really thin your hair and it can really break it a lot. So like if I do get my hair straightened, it'll probably be once or twice a year. Other than that, I'm braiding it up, twisting it up, or I'll put some extensions like clip-ins. I love clip-ins. But yeah, I don't like I'll get those straighteners. They call them like the Brazilian
the Brazilian blowouts.
Yeah, like the blowouts, I'll get those because it's not really harsh. I mean, they have the little heat to it as well because of the blow dryer. But and then they use like a certain type of steam flat iron. Those are real popular now. So it's not much heat damaging, but it's still heat. It's steam, but it's not as bad. But those is what I would do because, I mean, yeah, like I said, your hair is a part of you, so you got to take care of it. I have too been bald, shaved it all off, mohawk it, one-sided, had the Khalees, grew it back. I'm a big Khalees fan, so yes, I rocked the little bossy look when she cut her hair in the video. I was like, oh, I love that hairstyle. Let me do that. The follower I was at that time. But yeah, I done grew it back, like Ashley said, it grows back. It's just hair. So just have to take care of it.
I think it's so funny that we and I think we've said it, all of us have said it at one point or another in this conversation, that it's just hair. And yet we've spent an hour and a half talking about it. So like it is, and it isn't, but it is. I think that's pretty funny. Real quick, I just wanted to say, our buddy Joe, his phone died, so he's out for the evening. He will not be rejoining us. He just wanted to let everybody know, and he said he had a great time talking with us, and he hopes that our viewers, you guys, got something out of what he had to say. So just wanted to say that real quick. Micah, where are we at?
We are just over an hour and a half. So we have either one more question or we can wrap it up. I don't know how you guys are feeling about life and the choices that you've made so far.
Life is hard.
Yeah. And the other question, the last question, is a little Joe oriented too.
Well, I think that we sort of got into that when we were talking. So the last one is assumptions about a person, right?
Yeah.
I think we kind of got into that when we were talking about the good hair. So I think it's safe for us to wrap it up, unless Anybody here has questions? Anybody on the Twitch or YouTube? I don't know how that works. If you comment and ask questions, I'm completely illiterate on them. But if anybody's got questions before we wrap it up and say bye, or something, like a last point you'd like to make, Ashley?
No, just love whatever hair you got. Like, take care of it as best you can. There's no right, there's no wrong way. Like, just take care of yourself. Mm-hmm. Take care of your hair. Love yourself, love your hair. Wash yourself, wash your hair.
Elizabeth, do you have any words of wisdom you'd like to leave us with before we get into our wrap up?
No.
No. Dom?
What Ashley said. I'm gonna mimic what Ashley said. So yeah, love your hair, love yourself. You know, y'all are a unit, your hair and you. So just, you know, take care of yourself. Take care of your hair. Pretty much.
All right, Micah, you want to talk about what's going on coming up?
Coming up. So next week we are taking a break and we are not doing a stream or a video. But the week after, so for the 18th, we're talking about, I'm going to explain this really badly, but we're talking about prominent Black people who've been assassinated and why we don't care, like why we don't know exactly what happened. So we're going to talk about people such as MLK, Biggie, Tupac, and Malcolm X. So it's a little bit more of a history lesson, and a little bit of, like, Megan and I are definitely going to get into like a conspiracy theory, probably a little bit. I think. This is also, we're going to try pre-recording and then posting the video as opposed to streaming it live. So don't like wait by your computer for a live stream because it's not going to happen. Beyond that, we are reading a book, and that book is A Taste of Power by Elaine Brown. We're discussing it as a group on August 25th. It's available at your library. I got it on my Kindle. So like go out and get it and read it and discuss it with us. The Facebook group Megan is running. So if you have any comments or questions, go to the Facebook group, let Megan know. If you have suggestions for a topic, we would love to know that. Yeah.
So on the Facebook group, I did post today a poll about, like, we're thinking about whether or not we want to change the time. And so if you've got input on that, please come to the Facebook page and let us know. Basically, our options are like same day but earlier, weekend, same time, weekend, earlier. So if you will give us your input on the poll, then that can help us decide maybe if there's a better time for us to do this so that more people can be involved.
I want to say thank you for everyone who came and talked with us today. And I'm sorry that you're not here, Joe, but thank you too.
So that's it for us this week. Thank you for joining us. Be safe out there. Don't be a racist and wash your hands.
Yes.
I speak out a phrase, 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 I speak Guapanese, think about what I want, then I cut my dreams, ain't no stopping these, I've been consciously elevating, amazing, and my brain rolled lots of trees, yeah, Damn, he cold. The bars like ice. They had me froze. Chicago when I went in the middle of the night. Yeah, from the west side Kanye. Yeah, but I ain't that shy. And I ain't that cocky. Yeah, but I live a good life. I switch the wrist for 100,000 beats like I don't get to miss this rhythm written in my vision. Swimming with the pigeons, visibly I'm fit to fish. Splash off with freezing water, rain the globe till you lost to see and hard to be controlled. And the sharks are eat, but not gonna eat my soul when I possibly is prodigy the rose code. I speak, I could phrase. I speak, I could